Alright, friends, what's going on? How we doing? It's been a couple days, and I'm late tonight, actually. But here we are. So I had some stuff come up on Wednesday, that's why I didn't stream, and then Thursday is my normal day for recording Let's Plays, and that's like 13 fucking hours of work each week on that day, so it's like really hard to get yourself up to fucking do this after all that, so that's where I was. Now we're good. We're doing all right, and we're gonna do some work. I want to do at least 4 hours tonight. I don't think I'm gonna bother too much trying to like make up for lost time, but I'm not trying to do extra time tonight to make up for lost time. I should say. Tomorrow there's no stream, but I will be likely spending most of the day working on this. Because I really wanted to get the character completely done by Saturday. If it goes into Sunday and we finish it up then that's not such a big deal, but my idea was finish the character entirely, so that includes weapons. So we have movement abilities and weapons. So I'd like to get all that done by Sunday, like early Sunday at the latest, and then next week we spend on making enemies and giving them AI. Really, it's not so much AI so much as just canned behaviors, like routines and stuff they follow. So they shouldn't be too terribly difficult. But that'll be what we focus on next week. And if I'm working on the character into next week, then that eats into that time. I think the third week will be mainly focused on developing the world itself. And then the final week, I think, will be dedicated to making sure our animations and stuff are good. And maybe sound, if I can find some good effects or make them myself. Who knows? We'll see. We shall see. But tonight we gotta get a wall jump going. And we focused on the basic idea. It would be to, let's get this running. First of all, we have our double jump, 1, 2. And we have our little area for wall jump testing. But if you can see my console's going kind of wild here, and that's because every time we move, we're ray casting a ray to the right. And so the basic idea is gonna be to enable the wall jump. Well, first of all, controls wise, to activate the wall jump, the goal is jump into the wall, and if you are within a certain range of a wall and you press the directional key in the opposite direction and then jump while this wall is still in range, you'll get your wall jump. So to do that, we basically need a way to check that range, and that's a ray that's a ray. We do ray casting. But the thing is, this 0 is printing the distance before the ray that we cast hits something. So this basically what this 0 means is the ray that we're casting is starting in the center of this player and hitting its own hitbox and saying, okay, well, we found something. That's that. But Unity has these things called cast filters, I think. Unity Raycast. Layer masks. We want Raycast 2D actually. Physics 2D. Raycast. There it is. Casts array against colliders in the scene, returning all colliders that contact with it. I did not know that was a thing. Interesting. Set the collision layer mask that indicates which layers the specified layer can collide with. Okay, we're not going to worry about that right now. So first things first, we need to cast the array, which we've already done. I need to open the code actually. Project layer controller. Here's all our nice little code and stuff. Yeah, so if we're moving cast array to the right. Fuck off! No updates. Updates fuck things up. We're not about that. So yeah. We're casting the array. Fraction is a member of hit, or of array cast hit 2D, which is what this method returns. It is an object of that basically just consists of data about what you hit. The centroid of the primitive used to perform the cast, that has its own specific use, and it was confusing, but basically I know enough to know that I don't need to worry about it. The collider hit by the array. Is this a string, actually? It's a collider 2D. Do you have a toString method? Returns the name of the object. So we can actually do that. By doing dot collider dot to string. Actually, we could probably just do dot collider and it'll implicitly do that. Let's see what happens just for fun. Yep, the box collider 2D of character. Which, you know, our character does in fact have a box collider. Though which box collider, I have no fucking idea because we have two. Probably. I honestly don't know which one it would be. Because if we look, wow, we're in the simulation still. If we look, we have two. Those little green boxes. We should have two. Size is 1 and 1. Yeah, this slider collider is a little smaller, or it like goes down. The feet hit first. Yeah, that's the one, and this is the other one. So this is basically zero. Yeah, zero. No, this has some friction on it, so that way we don't slide around everywhere. And then this outer one has 0 friction, so that way when we move into a wall, we hit this cushion first, and we don't stick up to it when we jump into stuff like this. We had the issue we ran into is that we would just kind of stick to it like Velcro. Although you do kind of get caught there if you jump if you jump to the middle, it's that top corner, I guess. It just like completely stops your movement. I'm not really sure what that's about. But anyway, that's not our issue right now. Our issue right now is making not a collider. We already know about that. A layer mask. Filter to detect colliders only on certain layers. So how do we, first of all, let's like refresh ourselves on collider layers. So let's go back to this. Is there like a layer thing? Is there a layer option in here? Do we need to set the layer in code or something? Also, one thing I wanted to know is, can we change the name of this? Or would it be better to make like a separate object that has a hitbox? You know, like we could have a body. We could have a rigid body that is like comprises the body with its own hitbox that functions as the no friction one. And then we could have a feet hitbox or a feet rigid body that just has this little tiny thing, and then that would make it easily easily distinguishable in codes, because we'll like each one can have its own code tied to it, or we would, I guess, be able to if we have a code component, a script component, excuse me. If we have a script component tied to the parent, and then those other two rigid bodies as children, then we would likely be able to reference each one from inside the parent's code, because we can pretty safely assume that the children will always be there. But I believe the layer refers to just the layer of the entire object itself. So let's, before we actually start doing any of that, let's go ahead and look at layer masks. Do they have any specific like documentation on that? Contact filter, that's the thing I was thinking of. Why is this different? Physics 2D dot raycast. Raycast hit 2D returns a raycast hit 2D. I guess if you just put an int in there, this is just a separate constructor. A contact filter 2D is a set of parameters for filtering contact results. Define the angle by referring to their position in world space where 0 degree. We use the contact filter to precisely control which contact results get returned. This removes the need to filter the results later, is faster and more convenient. If you're using a function that requires a contact filter 2D, but you don't want to perform any filtering, then use contact filter 2D and no filter. For more information on using filter 2D with casting, see all of these. What is cast? All the collider 2D shapes attached to the rigid body 2D are cast into the scene starting at each collider position, ignoring the colliders attached to the same rigid body. This function will take all the shapes attached to the rigid body and cast them into the scene starting at the position in the specified direction for an optional distance. Return the results in the provided results array. The integer return value is the number of results written into the results array. The results array will not be resized if it does not contain enough elements to report all the results. The significance of this is that no memory is allocated for the results, and so garbage collection performance is improved when casts are performed frequently. Additionally, this will also detect other colliders overlapping the collider start position. In this case, The cast shape will be starting inside the collider and may not intersect the collider surface. This means that the collision normal cannot be calculated, in which case the collision normal returned is set to the inverse of the direction vector being tested. Okay. So I guess it's just like ray casting, except that the thing cast actually takes up space. So like, instead of just throwing a tiny line this way from the very center, it would throw, you know, like a box this way, and then anything that touches would get returned. Anyways, that was a brief aside. That's not really what we want to do. Sets the contact filter to filter results that only include collider 2D on the layers defined by the layer mask. Okay. So if all I'm doing is checking the layer, then is there a reason for me to use one of these instead of just putting in an int? I'm thinking possibly not. Unless there's some little tiny detail regarding regarding the like just the way that it calculates things. Yeah, we're not gonna worry about it. We'll just put an int. We'll throw these into wall. I said wall, not qual. Good enough. Wall. That's a wall. So then we go back to code here. Where the fuck is here? There we go. Vector to right. Then 9. Which really we should do, like, I should do a fucking constant wall layer. Can we initialize up here? I don't think so. Well, if it's a constant, probably. Let's do wall layer. Identifier expected. Does it have to be public? Also, the giving a variable a type is generally desirable in C-based languages, you know. Okay, so it doesn't have to be public, I don't think. So let's just see if that works. Still crashing into the character, or colliding with the character, huh? Oh, yeah, I should probably give the character a crouch as well. Didn't think of that. The music stopped. Oh shit. Throw that on 8. So what's making this not work then? Origin, direction, float. It's not like it's we plugged in an int, so it's not gonna uh it's not gonna get confused that we're trying to plug in for distance. Okay, what if we just do make a contact filter then? See if that works. I want default values for these things, by the way. Like, is filtering true? Or I guess like by default are these things? Which ones of these are true? I think that's why I clicked on this last time. Probably not. Can we can just declare a contact filter? But where's the that is the same page, isn't it? Yeah. Where's the constructor, dude? All right. I just want some code. Unity declare contact filter 2D. That's useless. Okay, I'm looking at a tutorial, so I don't really want to like read these things word for word on stream, but like I'm looking at someone else's. I just want to know, like, I want to see where they declare. Well, first, if they use a contact filter and how they declare it. How to use layer masks. Excuse me. Oh, wait, it accepts a layer mask? What the fuck? Okay, I may have just fucked up by not making this public. That could be. Let's see if that's any better. Nope, still getting character. What is it? Looking contact filter 2D. Let's just declare it, shall we? We'll give it a really shitty name too. So what are the methods and properties? Set depth, set layer mask. Specific layers to use in a layer of physics.raycast. A game object can use up to 32 layer masks supported by the editor. The first 8 of these are specified by Unity. The following 24 are controllable by the user. Yep. Each layer is shown with a string setting. As an example, built-in layer 0 is set as default. Built-in layer 1 is transparent FX. Yada 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 yada. Example below has user layer 13 set to wall. Causes the assigned game object to be treated as part of a building. In the following script example, Raycast sends a ray into the world. Camera main can be rotated around the y-axis and fire a ray. 3 game objects represent walls that can be hit by the fired array. Each game object has game object label set to wall. Set to the wall layer mask. Wait, what the fuck is label? So we don't need to worry about the contact filter at all if we just do this. Forget it, forget it, forget it. Forget I said anything. We'll do layer mask. Layer mask. Get mask. Wall. Yeah, we need a name. Wall layer. Wall layer. Sound good to me? Sounds good to me. Sound good to you? I certainly hope so. Does it sound good to Unity? That's a $1 million question. Let's see. Fuck. All right. We're gonna do some science. See if I fall through the world like that. Yes. Okay, so that does turn them off. So we want the feet collider. Okay, so basically all we have to do separately is make a contact filter and then plug that layer mask into that, and then plug the contact filter into the raycast, I guess. C filter equals, well, no, C filter dot use set layer mask. Should just be a layer mask object. Yeet. Set layer mask wall layer. Dot use layer mask should also set to true, because I don't know what the default is. I'm gonna do it the other way around. I don't know if it'll make any difference at all, but better safe than sorry. And then we can fuck around with it and see what happens afterwards. If we if this works, then we'll go fiddling with specifics. Excuse me. Contact filter does not contain a definition for use layer mask and no accessible extension method. Okay. So I fucked something up there. Argument 3 cannot convert from Unity engine.contact filter 2D to float. So unassigned local variable C filter. Uses a should just be a okay. Lower snake case and a lower camel case, whatever the fuck. I think snake cases in underscores. Let's try that then. Line 49. Alright, motherfuckers. You listen here. On your very own documentation, there's a fucking constructor for... Or an overloaded fucking... I guess this is an overloaded method. But there should be an overload for this. There's two, even. Fuck. Although... This one, this does not have a default, so that means it's required. So if we put a list of raycast hit 2Ds, then we'll get that. And if we put an array of raycast hit 2Ds there, we'll also do that. Okay, so we need like this. Add array to declarator to declare a managed array. The rank specifier precedes the variable's identity. My bad, my bad. Fuck, how do you declare an array in C#? Alright, well we know a fucking fixed amount. Let's try that. This probably won't work. The number of dimensions and the length of each dimension are established when the array instance is created. These values can't be changed during the lifetime of the instance. Fuck. What about a list? Because that's another overload. I believe specifically lists are more about flexibility. Yeah. List is valid. Represents a strongly typed list of objects that can be accessed by index. Provides methods to search, sort, and manipulate them. The following example demonstrates how to add, remove, and insert a simple business object in a list. That is to say, yes, you can have more than one fucking, or you can have a dynamic amount of objects. The list class is the generic equivalent of the ArrayList class. It implements the list or the iList generic interface by using an array whose size is dynamically increased as required. You can add items to a list by using the add or add range methods, yada 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 yada. So basically we just do the same shit, except instead of array, fuck, too many windows. How do we declare one? Shit. Where is it at? So we do a list. Wrong way. Raycast it 2D equals a new list. Raycast it 2D. All right, maybe this time. Fuck. New expression. Parentheses. Okay. So many little details, dude. But that's programming for you. Been too long. God bless America. So notice we're high enough to be catching L. And now we're R. Left, right, LR. Yeet. And you may have noticed that it didn't catch these ones either. Hell yeah. So actually, let's go ahead and go back to the Raycast hit page. Layer mask. No, we're done with these. Oh, I'm so glad we have that now. Honestly, this is kind of convoluted though. Like, fucking, we had that one method that had the option to just put an int there for the layer, but instead of that working out, we have to fucking make a get the layer mask of the layer we want. Make a contact filter, basically only use that contact filter to store the layer information that we just got here. And then put that into it like an array of shit, and it's just like, fuck, dude. There's like 7 more steps than we really needed. I'm sure there's a good reason for them, but just a little frustrating in our basic scenario here. And actually, when we got to this point here, where we were on this and we were catching this wall, we were in that array, or in that list that we made of raycast hits, we also had another one for this one because it was still hitting that one, presumably. I believe it was. I don't think it stopped there, but if we really needed to access it, we could have by putting a fucking 1 here. But you know, by only accessing 0, we can ensure that we're only looking at the closest thing that gets picked. that gets hit. So now we just need to see how we access distance. Not this distance. Not this one. Distance. No errors. So this is about one unit, whatever the fuck it is. This doesn't even look like 256 pixels, which is like quote unquote 1 unity unit, which I don't know why the fuck they use that instead of fucking pixels, but it is what it is. So I'm thinking if we want we're actually still getting stuck. Because I turned off the this. There we go. So if we want wall jump to work properly, or the way, like I said earlier, the way I want wall jump to work is I want you to be against the wall in the air, and then while you're within a certain range of that wall, press the opposite movement key. So since we're on a wall on our right side and we want to go left, we press the left key and then we jump, and then it gives us a wall jump even if we're like way the hell up here. So what we need to do is we can't just put 0. Because that would just like require us to be this close, and then if we push this, immediately the wall jump just stops working. Secondly, the origin of this this raycast is in the middle of this little sprite here, so that means the sprite, or it's never going to get closer than that 5339794. So if we give ourselves like 0.3 extra, so we make the range like 0.8, so that way when we push this we have some time to actually hit the space button. So we'll just go ahead and make a I guess another constant. Const float equals 0.8 f. What is it? Wall jump range. So now anytime we want to tweak this, or we'll just plug wall jump range into wherever the fuck. And then anytime we want to tweak it, we find out that's not enough or that's too much, then we can just fucking adjust it from here. Actually, by the way, this measurement is definitely unity units, because our box, I think, is 1, or our character is 1 wide. and then 2.62 tall. So if it's one wide and then we have another hitbox that's just slightly wider than it, then yeah, that would give us point. That would be enough to give us this fucking 339794 or whatever. So if we turn this back off, I think we'll probably pretty fucking close. Yeah. Now if I turn the other collider off, which I think I also resized a little bit, then that would probably give us exactly 0.5, but here the problem would be we don't collide with anything at all, so we just fall through the floor. And that's just awkward. So yeah, some wiggle room is fine there. Now I don't know if I want to be doing this every single time we have a fixed update while we're moving. So I think we'll just declare all this, like up here, initialize it in start, and then and then just build it from. Actually, I think I'll probably do these 4 steps right here. The list and the int here. I think those should be fresh every time. Because I don't want to have a list that's like persistent beyond each frame, because that could lead to inaccurate data just getting stored over long times. And that's no good. Not at all. So we'll do layer mask. Wall layer equal, well, no, we don't want to initialize here. Contact. Filter 2D. Fill your filter. I don't know why I can't type. Actually, I don't think I even need to initialize that out, or like make that out here. We can probably just do layer mask, wall layer. Equals layer mask dot get mask wall. We need the contact filter to be persistent, but we initialize that here. C filter equals new contact filter 2D. Use layer mask through the filter dot set layer mask, which is a method, not a variable, not a variable, not a value. I messed up. I combined value and variable. Set layer mask wall layer. And now I believe this should do exactly the same thing. Which really, when you're making big changes like this, quote unquote big changes, waiting for second key of chord, what the fuck does that mean? I was trying to like mass comment. Is there a comment hotkey? Toggle line comment. Control K. That's what we hit. That works. Better to comment it out than to delete. which really we could do it separately, like with a multi-line comment, but it's fine. Let's try this. In theory, all should be exactly the same, and I don't think I needed to reset the simulation like that, but it's fine. 27.9, yep, L, and 0.5339794. And here's the thing, we're also only using a right direction. Fucking, you know, array anytime we move either direction, so we're gonna need to do both. And like when we're moving right, we need to fire a array to the right. When we're moving left, we need to fire a array to the left. So we're not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. We're just making progress, and we know things work in this form that we have it now. So we're gonna get rid of that. Having too much commented out is like really frustrating something to look at sometimes. Control. Wait, you have to press Control K and Control slash? What the fuck? It's weird. We'll see if it defaults use layer mask to true, since the documentation doesn't want to tell me. It looks like it does, but I'm just gonna be double sure. Indeed it does. Okay. So we can save ourselves that assignment right there, which is, you know, marginal at best. It's just, you know, better to, it's a minuscule change in the amount of computation we have to do, and it's like a one-time calculation too, but you know, it's still better to be efficient even if it's not noticeable. Music stopped again. I need to put a longer playlist on. All right. Okay, so we are, I believe we're gonna have to do this in every physics frame where we're moving horizontally. Maybe it's better to do this inside of move horizontal though. Maybe we make its own fucking function. Because what one function is supposed to do is, one function is supposed to provide one you know, one fucking distinct action, and the more you plug into that beyond its one purpose is like, it makes it more confusing. So this is a very short function, but I think it's better to leave it that way because it's, you know, it's just moving. So what we can do is, what is magnitude? Where do I set that? It's the size of the axis, or the size of the input on its axis. So if we're moving left, then it's -1. If we're moving right, then it's, or I'm sorry, it's a float between -1 and 1. Without input, it's 0. And based on the magnitude of the input, like for analog sticks, it'll be like a decimal value, and if it's just like a key press, then it'll be either -1 or 1. So we'll be able to say, like, if magnitude, let's just go ahead and do this is all within the class. We'll go ahead and do void for starters. Check wall jump. We also want magnitude. We want to know. And then we'll write that code when we get back, because I just realized it's been an hour and I need to go take a break. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Hope you're enjoying. If you are and you haven't already, make sure you dab on that like, yeet that subscribe button, turn notifications on, and I will be back in a couple minutes. Yeet. My friends, I believe I have had an epiphany. So, I might be just, I might just be a little dumb. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that right now. Float distance, maximum distance over which to cast the ray. So if we're only gonna do anything within like 0.8 units, why the fuck don't I just limit to 1? And then okay. So here's the thing. So if we limit to the max range, why did I do that? If I limit the distance of the raycast to the max range, then anytime we have a hit, we can just do the wall jump. We can just enable the wall jump. Like, we won't have to check distance or anything, because so long as it's within, as long as it's making contact with that distance, then it's fine. So we probably did all of this for naught. So let's go ahead and control K, control, yeah. So instead of C filter hits and then like the list and everything, we can just do go ahead and change this. We'll go ahead and comment that, actually, since we know the things work in this. We know things work in this configuration. So we'll go back to raycast hit 2D hit equals physics 2D. I could probably, I did copy that line, but it's too late. I'm already typing it. Fuck it. Raycast transform not position vector 2 dot right wall jump range and then fucking 9, because that's the wall layer. Yeah, 9. Now I should have just put that up here. Let's just see if this works, shall we? It should be not, yeah, it's not really detecting anything. And it's still not. So why wouldn't this be working? Let's just give it a little extra range. They're definitely not. Not reading anything. Raycast hit should have all these. Yep. Vision normal. This function returns a raycast hit object with a reference to the collider that is hit by the ray. The collider property of the result will be null if nothing was hit. which collider is the thing we're doing, which surprisingly enough, despite that being null, it's not crashing, which I'm kind of surprised. We're definitely checking the collider. Oh, fuck. Okay, well this is kind of silly. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we're not even colliding into ourselves. Okay, so it may be less efficient, but we know that this other way works. All right, we're gonna head right back into this. Now, we may not necessarily be precluded from limiting the distance just because we're using this version. No, this version. Yeah, we still have distance option. So we can actually still go ahead and do wall jump range. I would like to know what this what gets put in here if nothing is hit. The integer return value is the number of results written into the results list. The results list will be resized if it doesn't contain enough elements to report all the results. This prevents memory from being allocated. Bruh. There's so much information I'm lacking from these documentations. Fuck. I'm assuming it's no. Or its size is just 0. Maybe not. It's probably not no. So just to be sure that we are using a proper function. Contains copy to, I think it's probably size. Sort, no. Length? No. Elements. Oh, count. Okay. Now we won't get errors. That's the idea. It bothers me. We could probably still, you know, still do it with the errors. It just pisses me off. So we don't. Yeah, buddy. So it's actually, it did report, we saw. It did report slightly larger than the actual range. Which is fine. You know, we can just tune the numbers by feel rather than, it's not like the end of the world. Okay. So we've got that. Now the next question. The next question is actually how do we translate this information into wall jumping? I've said this several times, but we're going over it again. To enable to do the wall jump, we have to be within this distance of the wall, moving this way and jumping while we're still within like the range, probably like there. That's already kind of pushing it. Oh no, we changed the distance to 1. It's not 0.8 anymore. Whatever, it's fine. That's why we're getting 0.9. It isn't over reporting. So the thing is, I was thinking cast the ray to the right while moving to the right, and then do like enable it so that way when we do this way, when we do hit the other direction, then we'll be good. But I'm thinking what if we cast the ray to the right when we're moving to the left? So that way when we press, so basically what it would be is, I get like, I don't like Paint. I like GIMP. It's a good program. Yeah, background color is fine. It's bright as shit, don't mind. So we got our little dude. We'll say that's our little dude. So the way we would do it, or I was thinking of doing it, would be going this way. When the wall is close, that close, set a flag. We'll do a check because those are always flags. And then you move that way, and then that way, and then you wall jump. That way. But instead, I'm thinking of doing the same shit, except basically removing that. Remove that part. So that way, it's more like, fucking... This doesn't make much sense, like just looking at the drawing, but I promise, I think this is better. And then we go like that, and then our character fucking, like that being the input. So basically, if we do it this way, we'll have to basically check whether or not we're on the ground. And before we enable this, because if we're on the ground, we don't want to do the wall jump animation at any point. So if we're not on the ground and we're moving away from a wall, but we're still that close to it, and we jump, then we just do a wall jump. Whereas this one is, if we move into range of a wall, enable wall jump, and then you have to do this combination and then do it. So it's like validate before starting the combination, and this one is like, if you start doing the combination properly, it validates like mid combo, and then it just fucking goes. So I think this will be quicker, and if this doesn't work, we have this to fall back on. Is this ground layer? We should have a ground layer, and you know what we can do to see if we're on the ground? Just raycast, dude. Just raycast. We've already got it figured out. And if we're within like it can be a little more than like 0.00001 off the ground. Like we could probably do like a disable wall jump if you're not like at least 0.2 off the ground. It's no big deal. Though that may be a little weird if it may be a little weird if we're like this, because the raycast would still be going all the way down, and that would say we're not on the ground. But then again, is there any situation where a wall will be that close? Because that's not pathable, you know? Because we still need to be really close to a wall. It's two conditions, not just the one that has to be satisfied. So I think we'll be okay. So even if we're not on the ground, it's not always going to be wall jumping. It's a stupid ass drawing. I'm sorry I did that. But we're gonna leave it there because it helps. It helps. And honestly, if I had my paper in front of me, I would probably draw something similar physically, because I usually keep physical notes of all this. Just in case, you know, hard drive failure, unforeseeable circumstances, catastrophic disappearance of information. All sorts of shit could go wrong, and I would just not have my notes. That, and I like to walk around with, you know, like be away from my computer and think about shit sometimes, so that's another time that stuff helps. But anywho, this is gonna be an important statement, so I think I'm just gonna comment this out. So we have our way to get our raycast. Yeah, this is back at 1, so we'll put it as 0.8 again. So now we're back down here to check wall jump. All right, so first thing we need to do is limit when we're checking. Which actually, we already know, because we're going to be calling this inside of fixed update, inside of this if conditional right here. So we'll probably have move horizontal, and then like we'll probably call on the next call check wall jump on the next line. So we'll go what is the description of this? Validate the character's ability to wall jump. It's all about validation. This is not where we're actually doing the wall jump. This is where we're doing the raycasting. This is where we're doing this. So the question here then, since we already know magnitude is gonna be not 0, because moving horizontal kind of does that right here. This is where it checks that the magnitude is not 0. So anytime moving horizontal is true, we know that magnitude will have a non-zero value. We do if mag is greater than 0. We could probably get away with else, but I'm gonna do else if just because it's a little clearer in my mind. Mag less than 0, not equal, not ever equal to. So if we're going with the second approach here, then we know that we want to throw the ray the opposite direction that we're moving. So this is throwing the ray to the right, which means we want that when we're going to the left, which is when the axis is negative. And this should be over here, left. This can go away. We have it copied in multiple places. So the we actually don't really care what the collider is. At least, yeah, I don't think we ever really will care what exactly the collider is or the distance. We'll really just care that the hit is hit. So we can probably return a value here then. Question is, what do we return? I think we'll do an int because we want to we can't just do a bool. Can we? I don't think we can. Because we can't do that because I believe it will be significant to know which direction we're able to wall jump in, you know? In that if... Yeah, we'll definitely need specific code separate for if we're jumping from the left to the right and then versus from the right to the left. So we'll do an int. And then since all we care about is whether or not it's valid from this function, then we just return we'll return 2 for left, return 1 for right, and then we'll do an else, return 0. We could probably use like it would probably be cleaner to use like an enum or something like that here. And we might end up doing that later, but for now I'm just gonna go ahead and run it like this. 0 equals not valid. 1 equals we'll just call it if the wall is on the right, we'll call it a right wall jump. Valid. Valid. Okay. I'm actually gonna get my paper, my notes, and I'm gonna write down the definition of right wall jump and left wall jump, because that's something that's gonna trip me up in the future. I know it. Notes acquired. Alright, a right wall jump. Wall on right side. Left wall jump. Is a wall on the left side. Also, remember how I said I would probably draw that shit on my own physical notes if I had them with me? Well, I have them with me, so I'm gonna draw that real quick. That shitty little diagram. We'll do it on that same paper. Here we are. These are basically the two approaches. Got our little dude. Goes right. Checks validity. Input, and then wall jump. One. Approach number 2 is go left, cast array right, and validate. Press jump. Perform wall jump. Must validate off the ground. All right. That goes for either one, honestly, because we don't want to be wall jumping while we're on the ground. That just looks weird. I really like this second approach, honestly. I'm glad we have the first one as a like a fallback in case this doesn't work, but I really think this will work. So we can then make a wall jump. I believe this one will be void. Wall jump. I think we'll take a bool. Well, eventually we'll, when we put in the limiters for like the characters, like the basically the characters flags. Like has the character unlocked wall jump? We'll add bools into all of these, but for now we're just gonna assume that we do have that enabled. So we'll then take an int. Validity? We may change that name. Not equals 0. Please. There we go. We got there. Don't worry about it. Validity equals 1. Wait, this is dumb. This isn't right. This doesn't go here. Because if we had it there, it would be if magnitude equals 0, which it will never equal 0. If our magnitude is greater than 0, which we are, or if is not 0, which we already know. We talked about that. And then we have 0 hits while we're moving, then we know to return 0. Okay. So this is a little weird, but actually I do have this backwards, come to think of it. So no, this is right. If we have a left wall jump, then the wall will be on the left, so we throw the array to the left. But I'm just gonna, for readability's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and do 1 then 2. And then just change these. Based on validity, perform wall jump. Okay. So I'm actually hitting a point of confusion. We haven't written the wall jump code. And there's a reason for that. The reason being, where do we actually do this? Like, we know we can write the code to perform the wall jump easily, but where do we actually do it? Do we do it in vertical or horizontal? Because there is certainly a vertical component. I think we do it in move horizontal. Okay. So no. We do this. We're gonna set a flag again, I guess. Which makes me think this might be a little excessive. Come to think of it, do we even need to separate this at all? We could just return a bool. Because if we put check wall jump in with horizontal movement, it's where we're casting the rays when we're moving horizontally, which we'll be doing when we're trying to wall jump. And then we just set the flag, the wall jump flag, in horizontal movement. Or like over here. In fixed update. We'll just do public bool wall jump available. Valid would probably be a better word, but just for consistency's sake, we're going to use available. False. Then we do equals check wall jump magnitude. And then in between these, we do because whichever one is true first, it'll like exit the entire sequence at the first one that's true. So since we would rather use a wall jump than a double jump, So then say we jump, double jump becomes available, but then we're moving properly to do a wall jump. The wall jump will be available as well, and then we'll jump again. That'll set that to false, and then if we try to jump again without being able to wall jump, it'll then use the double jump. Since we're throwing two separate arrays, I think we still have to do things separately like this. But ultimately, I think we're okay. Go ahead and comment this out. Check. I think that's actually all we really need to do. Break these up because I can't read them. We gotta have a better name here. More descriptive, because we need floor. Alphabetical order. Or filter. We actually need both of these, or all three of these. I'm the dumbest motherfucker. Fuck. I pressed copy instead of paste. There we go. Alright, we need a floor layer then. I'm just gonna go ahead and change this to that is floor, this is floor. For completionist's sake, or for like consistency's sake, we'll make that floor. So regardless of which way we're moving, we want to always be checking the floor. We'll do floor hits, floor hit count. C filter is obsolete. This is floor filter. Wall filter. Wall jump range. Sure. We can leave it wall jump range. It's 0.08 or 0.8, I mean. Hits is not a valid name out here. When I say out here, I mean in this scope. For consistency's sake, again, wall hits. Consistency in how you write things is really important in programming, because you just do shit differently in tons of different ways, then you're gonna get really confused trying to read it later. I've had it happen and it's not fun. So I mean, I'm pretty confident in this. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I feel it. Name wall filter does not exist in line 143. Why does it not exist there? Is it because it's not public? Oh. I'm dumb, that's what it is. Haha! 3 L's. Not all code paths return a value. It's because we don't have a default case. And there we go. We did it for a second. I think we're using the double jump there. This might be an issue of the range not being large enough, so we'll try that. Because we do want some wiggle room there. Look at that, boys. Yeet. Hell yeah. Now, if we had textures and we could see where the hell we were going on that entire pathway, we would be able to see us moving a little more readily, but it's fine. Yeah, so we'll definitely need dash to get there then. We'll go ahead and call that. So that way if we mess with one, we don't ruin the other. Wall jump min height. Dude, that feels so satisfying. The thing is, it might be using double jump first. Or it might be using both. We'll do debug.log. Jump used. Wall jump used, double jump used. Now it ain't working. Seem to have fucked something up. So the only way I got up was by consistently fucking up. Interesting. Which would mean we got these backwards then. And actually, I didn't do anything with floor hit count. Hell yeah, dude. So the double jump kind of serves as a like a saving grace, a saved fuck up. If you do mess up the wall jump, it doesn't completely ruin it. Yeet. Damn it. All right, well that's that. Dude, I'm so psyched. I'm so happy we figured that out. Well, now it's time for Dash. Input manager, what are the axes? Can we add more? Or do we just use like fire? Unity add inputs to input manager. The inspector click expand. Oh, increase the size parameter to make room for new input parameters. Okay. What do you want? So just duplicated the last one. I kind of hate that. It may seem like a good idea to do like dash mkb and then dash like analog, but that's a bad idea. Or dash gamepad or whatever. We want them to have the same name. We don't want a negative button. How do we type shift? Unity key codes. Actually, where's the manual? I just want to go to the manual. Because we know. We had a way. Or we saw a page on this. Scenes, game objects, prefabs, layers, constraints, rotation. Where's the input section? Input. We'll do like left shift. We're just gonna copy the values from the ones we already use. If you have input in opposite direction of current, do we jump to neutral and continue from there? That's kind of a non-applicable, inapplicable, not applicable. What the fuck? This is technically an x-axis thing since it's just gonna dash. Key or mouse button. Yeet. I think that's good for now. It's a little more self-explanatory to just have a bool, so I'm not going to bother keeping those comments there. This is fine to go. Go ahead and get rid of these two. I'm comfortable without them. My remaining question is whether or not I should force wall jump available to be false when we stop moving. I think we should. That'll force it to be done. That will force, like, if you want to use the jump, you have to do it while you're moving horizontally. It's required. Because if we leave it like this and you say the player walks up to like right here, jumps, and then moves the other way, like a hair, and then falls all the way down, their first jump will be the jump, and then they jump again, and it'll be the wall jump, and then they get the double jump, so they end up getting 3. Just without even having to do the wall jump thing. So I think it's important that we do that, and I'm going to see if that breaks it. And if it does break it, maybe we just leave it the other way without freaking out about it. Please. I ruined it. Yeet. We did that without using the double jump. So it's not ruined. That's the important part. I fucked up. There we go. Saved it. Please. I'm ass at my own game. Bruh, I'm trying to do something cheeky here. There we go. I got stuck there. Bruh, I panic every time I stop falling, or start falling. Why is that? We're getting stuck on that little lip right there, I think. I can't actually jump off of this. Oh. No, it is. I think it's because we're not standing on floor there. That's not really going to look good, but we'll see if it makes a difference. There we go. Single jump, wall jump, double jump. Yeah, so we'll need to make sure we put we put something like this on each of these, so that way we can have the wall poking out on the side perfectly, and then the floor poking out on the top perfectly. Okay. Well, that kind of clears up that one edge case that I was a little worried about. But I need to take another break. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Hope you're enjoying. If you're new here and you do like what you see, make sure you dab on that like, yeet that subscribe, turn notifications on. Come see me in another video, and continue watching when I get back, where we do the dash. Yeet. My friends, I have returned. We're in there. Not gonna lie, I'm very satisfied with myself right now. I'm feeling quite smug. And what's the reason that we program if not to feel smug and superior, you know? I certainly don't know. Alrighty. Sorry, I was updating the development Discord. How we doing? How we doing? Did I not save this? Fuck. We may not have had that change in there. With the re-false flag. I should probably clear up these Okay, yeah. It's definitely not wall jumping properly. We won't worry about it. The theme of this game jam is bug. So if there's a slight edge case where the double jump or the wall jump allows you to slightly overperform or something like that, it'll be fine. It's not like this is some hyper competitive fucking CSGO type shit, you know? And even CSGO has its own wacky shit like that, so no worries. Not physics frame. Per frame. Validate the conditions for wall jumping. I like that description better. There was something else I needed to do. I don't remember what it was. I feel like it was commenting something. Oh. It was here. Reset jump when hitting ground. Reset jumps when on ground. Which would mean this. We declared those within the scope of check wall jump, so that means they don't exist over here. So we can do this. We changed the condition for resetting jump from y velocity being 0 to fucking what is it? The raycast. But the distance needs to be limited to a different amount. We'll remove the limit there. Actually, for now we'll leave that. Debug.log floor hit count 0.distance to see exactly how far this goes. My bad, my bad. Fuck. That's actually probably far too short of a range, come to think of it. Yeah, because it's debugging, or it's casting from the middle. The very center of this object, so that means this this value right here is actually awful. It means we'll actually be able to wall jump from the floor. So it should be actually 2.0. Wall jump min height of 2.0. Oh, you do have to be a little ways off the floor to do it. Actually, we'll do 1.5. We're gonna do const float character height, because that's like definitely gonna change by the time we're putting the actual assets in. And so right now it's like 1.32 whatever the fuck. We'll do 1.35 f. Where did the jump use go? Three two five 162 325 199. So we actually do go into the floor a little bit. Now we're back up to 199. But that doesn't matter. For what we're doing. We can go with 1.35. So like, so long as the floor is within like a half an inch of the fucking feet, then it's no big deal. Get rid of this, please, if you would. Would you kindly? Wall jump min height? No. Character height. Floor hit count does not equal 0. These have to be classified as floors. So anything we can stand on has to be classified as a floor if we're going to do that. Am I just bad? Or did I fuck something up? I can't jump from the left? Yeah, I definitely can't do a left wall jump right now. Why is that? Ah, okay. I was a fool. Wall jump min height. And I forgot to put floor hit count here. So we were fucked either way. But now it should be fixed. This is how bugs happen. So when you're like, next time you're playing again and you're like, how the fuck did these stupid ass devs miss this shit? Trust me. This is like a 150 lines right here, and I'm getting fucking completely fucked up. And it's not even 150 lines. It's like maybe 60. Just think, those games have millions of lines of code. Very active shit. There we go. Wait. Yeah, that's a really kind of a large range. We might have to tone we're gonna have to tone that down. I'm not even touching that. We're not close to touching that. Let's try 1.0, shall we? It's still a really long range. We'll play with it. It's fine. For now, it's all right. So we've made our axis for dash with left shift. Now how do we read that axis? Input.get button down. Vertical. Yeah. So I think I want the dash to only work while we're moving. Do I though? Well, let's just say it would be easier to do the dash only while moving. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. This is a fucking game jam game. We're not making the next fucking Mario. Okay. It's fine. Let's go ahead and do input.get button down. What the fuck is that? That is a bool. So do we do it in here? In update? I believe we should. I guess it wouldn't be too hard to do standing dash, we'll call it. Basically my confusion, or the thing that would make standing dash harder than moving dash, is we would have to figure out the direction that the player was facing last when you push the shift or the dash button. So basically we would have to set another flag when moving horizontal, and it would be last movement direction basically. And we could do it. We would just have to change it in like magnitude or like check the magnitude. Which, I mean, we have it right here. Which we should be using magnitude. So we could actually do if magnitude here is greater than 0, Jumps available. Moving vertical, moving horizontal, magnitude. Last move there. Character is going to be presumably going to be starting facing the right, so we'll make it true. Last move there. Magnitude is greater than 0. Last move there. Equals true. Else last move there equals false. I've always hated doing brackets like this on separate lines. Because it fucking expands your code like wild. But it seems to be the prevailing way to do things. Because the open and close are on the same level, you know? So it's a little more intuitive if you're just glancing. But I always prefer to do it like there and then open here, close here. But that's just me. But since Visual Studio defaults to this way, I've decided to stop fighting it and get used to it. I don't think these need to be global, or public, I mean. Being global is enough. Bull. Actually, no, we'll do moving dash. Basically, these three flags here are used to communicate between update and fixed update. Because they're not, wow, that was a bad button to push. Control A, yikes. Input dot get button down. Dash. Because that's a bool. So this is basically saying on the frame that the player presses shift, mark that as true, and then on the next physics frame it will read that it's been told to dash, do the dash, and then it'll reset back to false. And that what that does also is it prevents this any kind of weird lag, or weird like double or triple tap. Like as many if you press, if a player presses dash like 3 times between physics updates, then some weird shit could probably happen. If you're not doing things like this, you'll just go flying like 17 times forward. Which we should probably give this a cooldown somehow. Well, I mean, we know physics frames are locked to 50 per second, so we can just use that as time. So if we want like a 1 second cooldown, we can make a counter. Call it we'll call it int cooldown dash. Actually, we'll start it at 50. So if and the cooldown dash equals 50. So Visual Studio is like a go-to, like tons of people everywhere, but they don't even let you fucking highlight shit. Press 1 parenthesis or paren key and then enclose that highlighted section in parentheses. It's very frustrating. Maybe that's not a feature a lot of people want, but it's one I want, damn it. So if the cooldown dash is 50, then allow the moving dash to be set as true. And if cooldown dash does not equal 50, I'm sorry, is less than 50, cooldown dash plus plus, and then cooldown dash equals 0. So this will prevent us from just mashing the dash key and going flying. This might get cumbersome if this was a bigger game and we had like a ton of abilities to cool down doing things this way, but this is just fine. We'll do move, not moving, move dash. And dash won't really care for the magnitude of the movement, in all honesty. So we don't need to pass magnitude in there. Move dash just to follow the same naming convention for the other movement functions. Music stopped again. Fuck. Where the fuck is? There it is. Yeet. What was the force that I used for jump initially? Because I remember it was just like effectively clapping the ass in the direction that we wanted to move, and that sounds pretty good to me for a dash. I think it was in physics. Duty, please. When you set collision detection to discrete game objects with rigid body 2Ds and collider 2Ds can overlap or pass through each other during a physics update if they're moving fast enough. Collision contacts are only generated at the new position. When the collision detection is set to continuous, game objects with rigid body 2Ds and collider 2Ds do not pass through each other during an update. Instead, Unity calculates the first impact point of any of the collider 2Ds and moves the game object there. Note that this takes more CPU time than discrete. Interesting. So that would be one way to fix some of the issue that we had earlier. But that sounds a little more intensive on the player's system. I'm happy with our current our current way to handle things. Basically, only by moving things in the physics frame, we avoid for the most part overlapping. Eat. Excuse me. So sorry. So, actually, let me read this. Well, I was hoping for a little more information than that. Well, that's fine. None of this is the information I want. All right. True documentation, please. Input. Yeah, we're done with this. Physics 2D. Let's read some methods, shall we? Overlap, raycast. These are static. I don't necessarily want static. Do I? No. It's rigid body we want. Rigid body 2D. Add force. I don't remember what force mode is. Force mode and impulse mode. So does it explain the difference? So wait, this isn't a list. We might have to look into that. Well, really they want you to copy paste this and run it so you can see. But I don't want to do that. So we'll just use whatever the default is. Oh wait, if you don't specify force mode, the default will be used. The default in this case is force mode 2D.force, which adds force over time using mass. So it's an acceleration versus, I think impulse is probably the opposite. It just, adds the force and then like decreases over time, you know, instead of going up like kind of like curve, like a parabola or whatever, parabolic curve, versus starting at the top and then curving down. Either way, I'm okay with force. I should not have minimized that. Add force, it's a vector. So we could either do add force or we could adding force will preserve our y value, our y velocity. That's the thing. I don't think I want to do that. Let's just try it out. Let's just say 100. 0. That might be the only move we need. It's a simple function. I didn't read what that warning was. I should get rid of these. Number 1. Number 2, we're writing another one. Last move dir is assigned, but its value is never used. That's fine. For now, we won't worry about it. Oh. We are dashing. The number is just too small. How about that? So that's pretty solid when we're not moving. But if we're moving, it fucks up. I think that's because we set the velocity. Okay. So we have a change we can make. Is less than actually we can probably just do full move speed. What is the move speed? That might not work. Did I get something the wrong way? Yeah, I did. That we need to not slide so much. We should do a constant for dash size or power. Why does that? When we're actively moving left, it doesn't really dash us at all. But when we're going right, it like yeets us. I think it's because I changed I know why. Unity absolute value. There we go. I'm alright with that. I think that feels pretty good. I just want to know why it's not why is it not even? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. Okay, maybe it is even and I'm just weaken. No. Yeah, we're losing control of our character in the air. You can't turn backwards. Because I had the explanation for that. Because pressing a key on the keyboard is always going to give you an axis value of 1 or -1. Our move speed was or our actual like velocity went to 1 times move speed. So we were at full speed, we were moving the actual move speed. So that means since we had only less than, it would stop applying. Or when we press the key moving the opposite direction, it wouldn't read this because, or it wouldn't go into this if statement because this was not true because it was equal to the move speed. So we're good now. Yeah, that was what I tried to do last time and it didn't work. No! I didn't jump first. Yeet. Hell yeah. We've done it. Laddies and gentleweeps. The goal has been accomplished. So let's have a look at our notes here. We've got player abilities dash, done. Wall jump, done. Double jump. I crossed that out because I wasn't planning on doing it, but then it just felt right to do it, so I did it anyways. Done. Time slow is the only player ability we have left, and that's not going to be done until after we put enemies in, and yeah, we're just not going to worry about that yet. Now is not the time. We're not doing it. We used to have, the original plan was 2 range weapons, 2 melee weapons, and a flamethrower. I spoke to my team, and I convinced them to let me cut it to 1 melee weapon, 1 range weapon, and a flamethrower. So that's something we don't have to worry about anymore. The question is, next hitboxes. Well, attacks. So we'll need like hurt boxes and damage boxes and fucking... I guess an offensive hurt box and a defensive hurt box would be both like it would be valid to call them both hurt boxes. I'm just debating if I actually want to do those tonight. I know it's only been 3.5 hours, but I think I'm probably gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I don't feel like up to starting a whole new like section, because it really is like a whole different thing. But I'm really happy with our progress tonight. I'm confident that I'll be able to do 3 types of character attacks, because really once I figure out one, it's gonna be pretty easy to do the other ones as well, I believe. But I probably won't be streaming that part next time, because Saturday's one of my normal days off. So next time I do stream on Sunday, I will talk through the changes that I made off stream. And I'll demonstrate whatever progress we do make in the coming day. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. If we can't get the weapons done by Sunday or by Saturday, I'm confident we'll get them done early on Sunday, and then we can move into starting enemies and stuff. But that's the problem for next week. Yeah. I feel good. So, like I said, that's it for me. Next stream will be Sunday, ideally about 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully not late like tonight. And yeah, make sure you dab on that like, yeet that sub button, turn notifications on, and come see me in the next one. Yeet.